Goat monkey like Fritos. Goat monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Goat monkey, very simple man with big warm fuzzy secret heart. Goat monkey like you. Goat monkey like you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Meteoraptor, and welcome to the 149th episode of the Meteoraptor Reviews. That's right guys, next episode, episode 150, and it's gonna be a good one, I can tell you that much. So, what are we gonna review for the 149th episode? Well, it's still October, and you can clearly see the title up there, and I'm too lazy to try and cheat you guys out of this review, because, well, I feel like I have to review it at some point. So let's take a look at the 2017 horror movie, It. Yep, It. It's been breaking all the records nowadays, and it has been on top of the box office for so long, it's one of the highest grossing R-rated movies now. But is it as good as everyone says it is? And I'm not going to put emphasis on every time I say it, otherwise it is going to get really annoying having to constantly say it like that. It's pretty good, actually. When I heard they were remaking It, I really didn't care. Never really cared about Pennywise, never really cared about the story, never really found it interesting. So when I decided to go check it out with some of my dorm mates, I was like, yeah, why not? I've already seen stuff on YouTube, let's go check it out. So when I got there, I was surprised coming out that I enjoyed it as much as I did. Because it's a smart horror movie. Unlike, it's not just a cheap remake, it actually cares and actually tries. The writing? Well, okay, Stephen King's It is like that thick. It's extra thick. Sorry. So of course it's being split into two parts, because everything has to be split into two parts nowadays. But this movie I can actually accept it being split into two parts, because it seems like it was supposed to be told in two parts. The first part focuses entirely on the kids meeting Pennywise for the first time. And I do want to say, the first time we meet Pennywise, Georgie's just short of run. I don't think any kid would stick around when he sees a face like the Pennywise remake, and I'll get into that when I get to the actual character. But from the word go, it's pretty clear that they're trying. They actually try and build suspense and horror leading up to the first fatal arm rip, which one of my dorm mates laughed hysterically at, because he was laughing through the entire movie, and it was pretty funny to be honest. But yeah, it makes sense, you know, like why the kid would kind of trust him. Kind of, I'll get to that in a bit. Really, the Losers Club, I think the best way to talk about this is to talk about the characters first. The Losers Club are mostly pretty interesting. The main guy, whatever his name was, like, I'm not good at remembering basic names, essentially. Like, when it comes to a movie, especially if I've only seen it once or twice, I don't remember names just off the bat. Hang on. The main guy with the stutter, I didn't like him as much as I think they were trying to get us to like him, because I found his stutter incredibly annoying, and I found it to be constantly whining and just not that likable. Yeah, Bill. I just didn't think he was really that likable as much as he could have been. Beverly, I thought she was a decent character. She wasn't just a gender stereotyped character like we see so much nowadays. I really liked Ben. I thought he was a really fun character. Eddie was probably the best in the group because, well, he was vulgar, he was violent, but he was also cowardly. He's like what the nostalgia critic said. He's like Ash as a kid. Then we get to, well, Stanley and Mike, the black guy and the Jewish character. I can't comment on them because they add nothing to the movie. I really feel bad talking about it like that, but they don't really do much. Mike is constantly attacked by a group of racist bullies who get more development than he does because, well, he's black. And that's about it, and he works in a butcher shop, and Mike is the Jewish character. Yes, the two of them have fears which Pennywise uses against them in some pretty cool scenes, and including with Mike's at least, that scene was genuinely terrifying. It they don't really have a lot to do in the movie, so they don't really add a lot or take a lot away from it. Which sucks, because I feel like there was so much more they could have done with them. The story itself is pretty serviceable. I felt like the movie itself was a bit padded and a bit too long. Essentially what happens is each group, like there's like the three guys at first who are already friends, and then what happens is Pennywise begins to use their fears against them. He begins to try and scare them. Bill with Georgie, Mike with a picture of a woman, which is genuinely terrifying, and, oh wait, Mike I meant, and then, well, you get my point. And as the others begin to realize, oh yeah, we've all had the same experience, they come together and they become friends, only to be later called the Losers Club, which they changed to the Lovers Club because that scene in the book was incredibly disturbing. Stephen King, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? I'm gonna just come out and say it. An 11-year-old orgy? You are sick, dude. And that's coming from me. But seriously, that's kind of one reason why I don't read your books, because you are just messed up. All the characters are likable enough, but the plot kind of suffers from sort of having both too much going on and not enough going on. We have like scenes with the bullies, where like one of the bullies, he's clearly shown to be psychologically insane, and Pennywise uses that to try and make him more violent to try and kill the kids. And then we have long scenes of them just talking, like cleaning up the bathroom because they can only see the blood. Like, there's so much with this movie that works. The parents have a reason for not seeing, like, it's kind of cool that the parents don't see what the kids see when it comes to the blood or to the monsters. That's cool. But then there's scenes like when, like I mentioned, with the blood, when they're cleaning it all up in the bathroom and they essentially have an 80s music video, essentially. It's really weird, man. Like, it's just weird, man. But it might seem like I'm talking bad about this movie, but really, it's good. The pacing, it's fast enough that the scenes which they drag for a little bit, but then they immediately are followed up by much better scenes which move extra fast to try and make up for that. All the characters, their chemistry, I can genuinely believe they are friends. And now we get to... You know what? No, actually, no, we don't get to that yet. I believe that all the scenes where the kids are scared actually work. Each character has been shown to be afraid of what they're being shown. It's not just, oh, and you're afraid of pandas now because we gotta try and be scary. It's genuine things which are based on real fears, and I think actually can instill a real sense of dread, especially if someone watching this suffers from the same type of phobia. And something which floored me in this was the acting. The acting was amazing from everyone. All the kids, even Georgie, this 5-year-old kid, turns in fantastic showings. Now we get to Pennywise. I really don't like what they did with the redesign with the whole, like, the buck teeth and all that. Like, it just looks stupid. It looks like they were trying way too hard. And here's what I was talking about earlier with Georgie. He would probably just have ran away if he was a normal kid. What worked about the original Pennywise is the fact that he looked like an actual clown. This, it looks like some sort of weird Victorian era thing that looks even stupider when it does its dance, which was hilarious. Or when it is like running at the screen. He's not scary. It's kind of funny, and they never really seem to try and work with that. When you look at the original Stephen King miniseries, Pennywise was trying to be scary, didn't really work, but they actually also had scenes of him being funny. They kind of knew they had to do a balance, otherwise, well, it would be too much of one and not enough of the other. But Bill Skarsgård, he does kind of bring this crazy, psychotic, yet kind of funny performance to Pennywise, and he does a really good job. I look forward to seeing him in the sequel, and I'm really curious as to who they're going to cast for the adult version for the kids in the future. Now, let's get to probably the best part of the movie, while also kind of being a low point. The effects. Makeup on Pennywise, fantastic. A lot of this movie is done with practical effects. And it looks great. Then there's the CG. It's not used a lot, but the problem with it is they used so much of the budget on designing the haunted house, which looks scary because it's all done realistically, and all the makeup and all the practical blood and stuff like that, that the CG, it's clearly noticeable it's CG, and it also looks kind of bad. Not Sharknado levels bad, Not even Battlefield Earth levels bad, not Mortal Kombat levels bad, but distinctly CG bad, if you get what I mean. They really try to blend the real and the fake together, and for the most part, they do an okay job. But what they couldn't do a good job with, it kind of shows. But like I mentioned, all the practical blood, like when Georgie gets arm ripped off, it works. It's kind of disturbing. And like Pennywise, like his makeup is pretty decent. The costume, again, is so stupid. I really don't like the new costume, to be honest. But like his underground hangout, I guess, looks really creepy. And most of the CG does work. The music is really good. Granted, the music is sometimes used a bit too much in some scenes, which would have been much better if they didn't use the soundtrack, because then it would have been just creepier without the music. But for what it does, it's serviceable and is scary. So, thumbs up to that. Really, I think my main problem with it, aside from the movie being a little bit too long and not having enough content, and aside from Pennywise being trying too hard to be scary and stuff, and just, you know, just the unlikable characters, and just some other plot holes which aren't big enough to warrant me mentioning, but just kind of bugged me. I think I can get why everyone says it's such a great movie, but it's not a masterpiece. It is not a revolutionary horror film. It's not the next Psycho, it's not the next Birds, it's not the next Conjuring. It's not the next Nightmare on Elm Street, not the next Friday the 13th. Pennywise, for about maybe 8 years at most, will be remembered. And after that, he's going back where he came from, the sewers. Pun totally intended. But he doesn't have the staying power of Freddy Krueger, Jason, Chucky, the Crypt Keeper, Pinhead, Michael, Leatherface, even the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. He just... And maybe it's because he's a clown, which is just so unoriginal nowadays. But he doesn't have the staying power that the other characters do. Either way, can I recommend it? Yeah. It's only fair that I give this movie a solid 3 raptor claws out of 4. Check it out if you want to be scared. Check it out if you liked the original miniseries. Check it out if you like the book. Check it out if you just want to see a good horror remake. Check it out if you want to see a horror remake done right. Yeah. It's one of those movies, you guys. They actually cared, and it shows. So, that's it. We're here. 150 episodes. I have no idea how I got this far. Seriously, for 150 reviews, I've sat here, watched movies, and talked about them. Woohoo! Yeah. So come back next time, you guys. It will be the 150th episode of the Meteor Raptor Reviews, and it will be a special reaction and review with the Meteor Raptor. But until next time, you guys, this is the Meteor Raptor saying keep cool, and as always, I will see all you Dino Dudes around. Later, and stay awesome.